Campaigners in Stoke-On-Trent say the proposed high-speed rail route ignores the city and they're to lobby the government for a station near the M6. It comes after yesterday's announcement of the extension of HS2 north from Birmingham to Manchester and Leeds.
Elsewhere, though, the campaign against the plans is gathering pace. Here's our Staffordshire reporter Liz Copper.
The economic benefits of good rail links are being highlighted by campaigners who are keen Staffordshire should gain from high-speed rail. This is a project described by the government as an engine for regeneration. And in Stoke-On-Trent, they want to see a stop in Staffordshire included in the plans.
Stoke-on-Trent's the largest urban economy between Birmingham and Manchester, so just like the Victorians did, they linked economies together, and we believe that the high-speed rail network should do just that.
It's here, close to junction 16 of the M6, where campaigners want to see an extra station. Whilst in Stoke-on-Trent there's enthusiasm for HS2 and the economic benefits it could bring, elsewhere the campaign against the project is gathering pace. In Warwickshire, the peace and tranquility of Kingsbury Water Park was shattered in the mid-1980s with the construction of the M42. Compensation helped the park to expand to its current 600 acres. But now HS2's coming, there's nowhere else to go, and the impact's daunting.
We have over 200 species of wildlife and birds here, and obviously the disturbance to the animals and the wildlife from a nice quiet country park to a building site is going to be quite severe.
Mary Hodge has been trying to sell her bungalow at Birchmoor near Tamworth so she can downsize. But with HS2 likely to run on the south side of the M42, her pony paddock's threatened. She feels she might as well raise her home to the ground.
If they bought the bulldozer, I could drive it through. No problem at all. No problem. Arsonists sound very good because that is all that it's worth. It's worth nothing. Nothing at all. From a property which is worth 360,000, it's gone to nothing. So where we go from there, I don't know. I really don't know.
As the consultation into the HS2 route continues, a letter's been delivered to the Transport Secretary by South Staffordshire Conservative MPs, highlighting constituents' concerns. Liz Copper, BBC Midlands Today, Staffordshire.
So the debate over HS2 goes on, and as we heard, the Lichfield MP Michael Fabricant has written to the Transport Secretary raising his concerns about the project. Well, I spoke to him earlier and asked him why he objects.
The problem with the route is that it goes surging through the centre of rural England and rural Staffordshire at that. And the irony is that in opposition, the Conservatives supported another route that was being proposed by the consulting engineers, which would have taken it through existing transport corridors like the M40 and the M6. And now, isn't it strange, we've had to adopt the Labour government's proposals in order to do the job quickly, and I don't think it should be done quickly. Meanwhile, Labour are saying, well, on reflection, they would have preferred to have gone the route that we originally suggested, up the M40 and the M6.
Mr Fabricant, whichever way you run it, you're going to inconvenience people. You can't make an omelette without cracking an egg. Your government supports this. It's going to create jobs and wealth for your constituents, among others.
Oh yes, I'm not opposing the construction of the line. Let's be clear about this. And eventually, and it will be a long time, even Lichfield people will benefit because it'll free up the West Coast Main Line to have lots more fast pendolinos stopping at Lichfield to provide a fast service up to Manchester and down to London.
So sorry to interrupt, you support the project, but you don't like the route, so that's classic NIMBYism, isn't it?
No, I don't support the route because unlike continental Europe, where normally the route goes through existing transport corridors, where there is existing environmental damage, this route is creating environmental damage going through rural England.
Existing transport corridors, how practical is that? You'd have to build a tunnel underneath Stafford, wouldn't you? You couldn't widen the line through the middle of the town.
Well, Arup, they're the consulting engineers who actually came up with their proposal. They were working for HS2 and they suggested using existing transport corridors. So it is practical. The problem is it would delay the whole project for about 4 or 5 years. But, my view is it's a long-term project anyway, so let's just try and get it right.
Well, Michael Fabricant talking to me earlier. Yesterday, we asked you to get in touch with your views about the northern route for HS2, and we got a good response, didn't we?
Yes, we did. Mr. G. Stevenson, not sure if that's George,
Any relation?
says that HS2 is a fat cat train for wealthy people, and the taxpayer will never use it, will end up paying for it like we always do.
Andrew Jones is a supporter. He says we should thank the Victorians for looking ahead. He accuses opponents of HS2 of being short-sighted. 20 years is nothing, he says. Think of the future if you have kids.
And Roger Perks says, can it really be true that reducing journeys by an hour will make such a difference to business and jobs? Does it justify so much turmoil and distress for so many communities?
And finally, Ian Purvis says he's fully in favour of the proposed HS2 Phase 1, but not the route. The West Coast Main Line serves Watford, Milton Keynes, Rugby and Coventry on its way from London to Birmingham, but it would bypass all of these centres of population and business.
Thank you very much for all your comments. Now, it's been a